Welcome to the Basket Buds edition of the Athletic NBA Show podcast on the Athletic Podcast Network. I'm your host, Zach Harper. We got Dave DeFore producing. We got Mo Dakiel. We got Trevon Edwards. We've got a King's Reign, a podcast series. If you missed it, well, it's been on this feed for the last couple of weeks. If you missed it, go check it out. Some really incredible episodes of a King's Reign. You can listen to them whenever. They're evergreen because LeBron is omnipresent at all times, and LeBron is never going away. Whether he's playing or not playing, LeBron is just a part of everything. So go listen to a King's Reign. It's really an incredible project, done really well here at The Athletic.
It's good. It's good Jay King's not on here because he wouldn't have known what omnipresent meant.
That would have actually been 10 minutes right there, just him looking up omnipresent and trying to figure out how to use it.
And hearing the word king, he probably thought we were talking about him.
He would think we're talking about him. If at any point someone says the kid, he just like any person who's ever been born in Boston, he thinks they're talking about him. They've all nicknamed themselves the kid. They must have been real confused when KG came to town. He was nicknamed the kid, but by somebody else. That must have been really confused. Wait, someone else can give you a nickname? That's weird. Coming up on the show, Anthony Davis staying with the Lakers. We've got contracts out of control. We've got Rudy Gobert saying he lost his virginity. We got all kinds of stuff. Also want to remind you, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's that little button down in somewhere where you're watching this, and you can watch us talk, and got a lot of good content. Andrew Schlecht always putting out good content there. And make sure you subscribe to the Bounce newsletter, free from The Athletic. We're in off-season mode, so it's every Tuesday and Friday morning. But once we get back to the season, it is every morning in your inbox, completely free. theathletic.com/thebounce. The writer there does a really good job. I don't want to say who it is. All right, guys.
Shams is really good.
Well, Shams does a really good job. And then, the other guy, I don't know, good-looking guy just does a really good job. Yeah. The good looking part really comes through in the writing. Hey guys, it's summer. There ain't shit to talk about. We could talk about the upcoming FIBA World Cup. No, I don't want to do that. That's boring. Everyone's going to preview. Oh, who do you think is going to win? We think the team USA is going to win. Miss me with Team Canada. They're always loaded and they always come short. And so when they finally win, it's kind of like maybe this is good news for them. They're in Denver Nuggets mode, right? It's like, yeah, you keep telling us how good you are, and then you don't win, and then the Nuggets won, and so now the Nuggets get to tell us how good they are, and we're like, yeah, we agree. We saw it. Team Canada, that's where you are with this FIBA World Cup. You keep telling us how good your team is.
But also, it's USA tradition to lose early.
Oh, we love to lose early. Oh, give everybody a little.
We love a field game. We love a field game.
So much so that the women's soccer team decided to get in on that and create a redeemed team for, I don't know, 8 years from now. I don't know what's going on with that. But this is not a soccer podcast. This is a basketball podcast. So as we are in full offseason mode, still waiting for Dame Lillard to get traded. Don't want to talk about that. Still waiting for James Harden to get traded. Don't want to talk about that. No trades. We're talking about re-signings and contract extensions and contracts. And Anthony Davis, what is it? 3 years, 186?
Yes.
Is that the number I saw? 3 years, $186 million extension to stay with the Lakers. He is now through 2026, I think is the...
2028.
2020. Oh, right. Oh, because he
has 2 years on.
He's
getting 270 over the next 5 now.
That's right. Ooh, good agent.
Good agent.
Yeah, shout out to Clutch. Goodness, oh my God. 4% of that. That's pretty good. All right. So Anthony Davis is going to stick with the Lakers. No real shock there. Ever since he found his way to the Lakers, we've known this is a match made in heaven. They win the title in the first year with him. And this is someone they obviously very much believe in. This is someone whose health can make or break a Lakers season, as we've seen plenty of times. So I guess my question isn't about like, is this a good sign? We knew the signing was going to happen. We knew this was it. We knew he wasn't going to James Harden this thing, get somewhere and decide, I don't want to be here. Let me go somewhere else. I guess, Mo, what do you think the Lakers' plan is with AD in a post-LeBron world a couple years from now, whenever that is?
I think they're passing the torch to him, right? That was always kind of the plan. And the hope is having a superstar makes it easier to attract the next superstar. And being in LA, being the Lakers, that's really the plan, is somebody really good's going to be a free agent in 2026, 2027, or 2028. And we'll have a run at them because we have AD and they'll want to play with AD. And I think that's kind of the hope that the Lakers are holding on to by signing him to this extension.
Trey, is is AD one of those guys in the sense that like people are like, yeah, I got to play with him. Now, maybe if he wins another title here with the Lakers, maybe that changes, but I still feel like it's going to be a very LeBron-centric title no matter how it goes.
The appeal is not with AD. It's solely with LeBron. And even still, guys at this point are second guessing it. Like, why would I go over there where I can go play with Steph Curry or go play with Nikola Jokic or Joel Embiid at this point? But at the end of the day, good for the Lakers. They're not getting nobody else. So you might as well lock him up, pay him what he is. I've seen some Laker fans groan, but like, be honest. Who are y'all going to get? At this point, you got to hope that you always draft well and you get some type of steal and they become a player.
But they always get somebody. It's LA. Like, it's not just the draw of playing with AD, but it's also getting to play in LA. And you know, we always do that, but they always tend to get free agent guys. I mean, they've done pretty well.
Look, no, they've done pretty well.
They don't get free agent guys. They get trades.
They had a situation where like prior to LeBron deciding I want to be in Hollywood, right? Like,
that was great. That was the draw. That's the draw. Like, I'm not trying to say it was the Lakers
for sure, but they also like they struck out for a long time. Right. Like, I don't think you can. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge needed an extra. This is my favorite. My favorite recruiting story is like LaMarcus Aldridge wanted an extra meeting with the Lakers just to be like, what's the basketball angle of all this? Like, what do you guys want to do on a basketball court? Like, I need to know what I'm considering here. And so, like, you know, I think Jeannie Buss has done a really good job of helping right the ship, and they've got a good foundation in there. Like, yeah, Rob Pelinka has been shaky, but that front office, like the scouting department's phenomenal. Like, they, like, for the most part, they're in really good shape, and it is LA, and there's a draw and everything. But I don't know if you can just assume, oh yeah, they'll get other guys. Like, eventually, yes, but in terms of like in the immediate, we saw, I don't know, like, not a decade, but pretty damn close to a decade of them not really getting the people that they were targeting.
Yeah, and that was when you had Mitch Kupchak and what was it, Jerry Buss? Which one? Jim Buss, right?
Jim Buss, yeah.
Jim Buss was running the team, and those guys were not good at selling the whole idea of becoming a Laker and all that stuff. Like, I think that goes to part of it as well. I mean, Mitch Kupchak doesn't even believe in tampering. Like, there's no way you're going to compete in the NBA anymore if you don't believe in the tampering.
You have to tamper.
Yeah, you have to. You
just have to gamble that the NBA is not going to do the 1 out of every 50 is all right. We're sending a memo, guys.
Yeah, well, what's the NBA going to do when they catch you tampering? Take away a second round pick?
Right. Yeah.
Ooh,
well,
worth it.
If you put it in writing, they'll take away the player 4 first round picks. Yeah, there's a Minnesota thing like that, but
they've all learned.
They've
all learned from that.
Yeah, just don't put it in writing.
But like, when what has been the penalties for tampering? It's been nothing. So why? But I just think, again, back to the real thing is just, somebody will eventually want to be a star in LA. It's not so much, maybe the draw is not so much AD, but it's nice to have.
I guess the question is with AD, are they going to get somebody like whoever the next star is that's available and they have cap space or they have the trade or whatever that situation is where they can acquire that person? Is it when AD is still good, still in his prime, still that, or like to kind of keep that going? Is it a true pass of the torch where they're still building in real time? Or is it, it's like 4 or 5 years and then they got someone else, because that's the important part here. We know the Lakers have a good setup. They fucked it up and then they fixed it. They fixed it at the trade deadline. And you look at this roster and like, that's a damn good roster. Like, I don't know if it's title worthy, but it's a damn good roster, especially compared to what this thing looked like a year ago. Trey, does that look like something where they keep it moving in like almost like a factory line, or is that factory shut down for a little while in terms of creating a title contender once LeBron's gone?
I don't think it completely shuts down. I think there will be like first round exits.
Yeah.
You know
I'm not saying miss the playoff. I'm just saying can they actually keep guys coming in and contending and everything?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's
absolutely
tough, right?
Not. Yeah, because the whole pitch right now is to play with those two.
Right.
If you only come on with one, it's like, oh, I actually got to do some work.
No, and it's not the one people generally think of, right? Yeah,
right. Because not only you got media push, you got fans push. You know what I mean? Like, cool, you might get a shoe out in China, but at the end of the day, you gotta deliver.
Yeah, you gotta deliver. Yeah, and I think my question there is just mostly like, all right, do we really trust Rob Pelinka now? Right? He did a good job of fixing it. I mean, maybe he learned from his mistakes of like, oh, I really messed that up. I got to stay solid. Like Jovan Buha wrote something, I don't know, a month ago about how like the Lakers had essentially like not gone for the flashy name and just decided like, let's be solid here in our offseason. And maybe the most questionable thing they did was Rui for 3 years at 50 something million or whatever. And even that, like, look, I think he still needs to prove it, but it's not that bad of a deal. Like, if that's the worst thing that they've done this offseason, that's pretty good.
They got really lucky. No team decided to throw a massive offer at Austin Reeves. Like, they did a good job of scaring everybody away to get Austin Reeves at, what was it, like 54 or 56?
Like yeah.
Like that was the one that really would have broke their back, right? If some team said, fuck it, massive overpay for Reeves.
Yeah.
Then they're in a different situation, but they did a good job. And I think you kind of got to just, I trust Pelinka, but I'm not forgotten the mistakes he's made in the past, right? Yeah. Like, it's like, he still has a tendency to do something stupid.
So I want to use this AD extension. So 5 years, 270, which that's the max right now of what he could get through the extension. It pales in comparison to the 5-year, $304 million contract that Jaylen Brown signed with the Celtics, but that opened up the door for Mike Vorkunov has done just incredible work for a long time for the Athletic, but he wrote something about where contracts are going. And it's crazy to think about. Like, we are about to enter an age where players are legitimately going to earn $1 billion in their careers. And that's not like, oh, if everything like, maybe it's not this CBA, but we're not far from it to where, you know, it was such a big deal. Like, Michael Jordan's a billionaire athlete. Tiger Woods a billionaire athlete. Oh, now LeBron James has become a billionaire athlete. Like, we're going to have dozens of billionaire athletes at some point, all due to just contracts, not like this incredible marketing machine and shoe line behind them and everything. The numbers that Vork said, so the salary cap can raise a maximum of 10% every year. Now, it's not necessarily going to do that. So we have to like recognize that right away. But it raised like, I don't know, 4 or 5% from last year, this year. Allegedly, you know, there's going to be this influx of cash with the new TV deal. Like, it's going to go up, up, up. And we're not that far away. Like, we're maybe 7-8 years away from guys making $100 million in a year just from salary.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, it's getting so crazy. And this is going to, I recognize up front how dumb this sounds, but it makes me wonder, like I'm pro player empowerment. I'm pro player, like, get everything you can from these owners and everything, like, get as much as you can. I don't care if you sign a bad deal. I don't fault you for like go signing with a bad team to get a big deal. Like, none of that stuff, right? I'll never fault anyone for going and getting their money in this league. At the same time, it is getting to a point where I'm like, this feels like it's getting out of hand. Right? Like, it does. And I realize like how hypocritical that sounds, but I'm like, and not everyone's going to be making $100 million. Like, it's going to be like a handful of dudes, maybe 2 handfuls, right? Like, we don't know quite yet what that's going to end up being. And again, it is like optimistic, you know, finance projection over the next like 8 to 10 years or whatever. But all right, let's say 15 years from now, we're going to have guys make $100 million. And there's part of me that's like, that's too much money, but it's not, right? Like, if the league is making this and owners are making this, and then it's trickling down to players, or whatever, it's not too much money, but it just sounds crazy. And everyone, all these like analytics people and everything go, well, you got to talk about guys in terms of the percentage of the cap they are. Fuck that. That's boring. I don't want to do that. I want to say, oh yeah, this guy's a 35% cap player. No, motherfucker's $100 million.
You want the sticker shock. You want the sticker shock.
I want the sticker shock. And so there's a point where I feel like a hypocrite, and I feel like someone who's like trying to like underhand the players, and I don't mean it that way, but I look at that ball, I'm like, $100 million a year is a lot of money.
I hear you. I feel you with that. Yeah. But I also go, these ownerships, the valuations of these teams have done nothing but gone up.
Oh my God.
It's billions, you know, it's, we just talked about the Lakers. If the Lakers go on the market, what, 8-10 billion? Like, we're easy, like, it's no, we talk about the Knicks all the time about how much they'd be worth. So like, the valuation goes up, and these are the guys that kind of build the league in that sense. So there's going to be a total level of sticker shock with that stuff, and it's going to be absurd. And I think the most important thing, and you said it, this is like the most optimistic of financial projections going forward, right? And like, who knows what happens? I'm with you. It's going to go up. How much? How long it will take? But we're heading there. I mean, AD's deal, the extension is $62 million each year. That's a lot, you know. And that's we're talking 40 more million. It gets to that level. It's going to be absurd.
I think the 5th year of Jaylen Brown's deal is 84. I think I saw.
Yeah, I mean,
Trey, that's nuts.
Somebody gonna throw a real trash can on the court.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean,
Trey, you can be as pro player as you want, but you hear that in 5 years, Jaylen Brown's gonna be making $84 million in a year just from player salary. That's good for him, but that's crazy.
I stopped looking at the money, man. I stopped looking at the money, bro, because when you start doing that, then you just get frustrated because it's kind of like, again, shout out to Jaylen Brown, but
it's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
The other thing that's interesting is the new CBA, because now it makes it so hard when you have these, when you have a max dude like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, Trey. I don't really understand is that like the new collective bargaining agreement is supposed to like kind of hinder some of this stuff, at least of stacking salaries like that on one team, right? Like the Suns kind of said, fuck it. Like, we're just going to do whatever. Like, you say we can't do this? We're going to get Bradley Beal. We don't care. We think it's going to win out. But Trey, like that money is so crazy. And I wonder if that factors into how players start strategizing, building teams together.
Yeah, I think it does come into an effect. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, a lot of those new CBA agreements were kind of players were upset about it, and a lot of people criticized, but I think it was all for the better good of the players in certain situations. So you take a team that like the Lakers, they might have to try to go get somebody else. As an example, they just signed AD to one of the richest, extensions, and then you go into a scenario of like, well, I want to get Trae Young out of the Hawks. You know what I mean? For an example, and you say, oh, well, he's we're going to trade for him, but he just signed a 5-year, $400 million contract.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? One of these years he's getting $92 million. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's going to be the realistic situation of like, how teams are going to be trying to figure out the math. Like, do we got to trade away 4 of our core guys just to get one of these dudes to make it work?
I don't know if you guys have any experience with this, but I get pretty bored, and so I will like just, if a game gets advertised on my phone, like or whatever, like I'll be like, all right, I'll try it, right? Like, and I just like
yes,
download it, try it, get bored with that. Next one, like I've downloaded some stupid fucking games, like just some ridiculous things. But there was one where it was like The Office, right? Like the TV show The Office, and it's like, oh, you just have to like upgrade this and upgrade that and upgrade that, right? And to where it's like, it's just like a way to soon the money that you have to upgrade becomes so big that then like they're trying to get you to spend money within the app to like fast forward things, right? And so it gets to this point where it's like, oh, Jim from The Office needs $44 million. I was like, aren't they running a small paper company? And that's what it feels like NBA contracts have become at this point, where it's like the money, like trade jokes, like, oh yeah, Trae Young's gonna have this 5-year, $400 million contract to move or whatever. But it's like, and there's a certain point where it's like, okay, when we start trying to match contracts in trade negotiations, that's going to get complicated, man. Especially like you think about what Austin Rivers said, a week or two ago, whenever that was, talk about how like the middle class of the NBA player, the mid-level guy, has been squeezed out. Now, I think he's a little sensitive because he's not getting those deals.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah. But also like, and I do think guys are getting those deals, but it does seem more few and far between. It does feel like we're getting a lot of guys, either big money or little money in terms of NBA dollars. But yeah, there's a certain point where like matching that shit's gonna be hard.
gonna be so hard. The people, the trade machine people that love to make up the fake trades. Good luck. It's gonna be hours on just trying to figure out, like, does this work contractually and all of that stuff. But I got a fun question for you guys. Who's going to be the Tobias Harris of the $100 million a year players? Like, who's the worst player that's going to get?
I think it's going to be Tobias Harris. I think he's going to find his way into another
one.
Like that guy, man.
I'm gonna say I'm probably Mikal Bridges, bro. Mikal Bridges is going to get a $500 million contract.
Yeah.
And them fans going to hate his gut.
They're going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed.
Because right now, I said, yo, he has not had a bad day in New York yet.
No.
That's the craziest shit about it. Everybody's like, oh, we love Mike, and like, damn good player, doesn't miss a game. Look, I hope that he becomes multiple All-Stars and all that shit, but he has yet to feel the New York media on some shitty ass like they didn't expect much last year. This year, when he see them doubles and he see them different things, and he has that bad shooting night, and he has his first injury that like requires him to actually miss some days.
Yeah,
bro, they are going to. All right, that's why I said I have yet to see him handle that yet. You know what I mean?
I just want to remind everyone.
It reminds me when Portland got Jeremy Grant. Motherfuckers was like,
yeah.
And then gave him 5 years, 160.
Yeah, 5 year 160. I just want to remind everybody of when, and granted, again, it's all tied to percentage of the cap. I get all that shit, but the sticker value of it all. Remember when Gordon Hayward was now a max player at 4 years, $63 million over 4 years? Now guys are getting 60 a year on these max deals.
Shocked.
Yeah.
It's just, everybody better get used to it. You got to come to grips with it now.
But
it's here. It's not even coming.
I've decided I understand the intelligence in doing it this way. I will never talk about players' contracts in terms of percentage of the cap. I'm just not going to. I don't like. That's not fun. That's not a fun way of discussing it. Okay. Just like I feel like KD tweeting, who the fuck wants to look at charts when talking about basketball, right? That's how I feel. Who wants to look at percentage of the pie when talking about players' deals? No, thank you. All right, last thing we got for you. All right, I am under the assumption that this is a Google Translate issue. But with that said, before, because I don't want to get any actuallys on this, all right? With that said, apparently Rudy Gobert said, I feel like I lost my virginity because he hit a 3-pointer in a FIBA game like a week ago. And it could only be Rudy Gobert saying this, right? Like it could only be him giving us a quote like that. Rudy Gobert is definitely the guy that people love to make fun of on the internet for various reasons. Speaking of big contracts, he's been trying to become an outside shooter. I want all right, first of all, before we even get into any basketball stuff, he could not have put that a worse way.
Yes.
Just, like I lost my virginity. It's making a 20-foot jump shot. Trey's just shaking. If you're just listening to this, you're not watching on YouTube. You gotta go. Trey's beside us.
There's nothing else to say. Fuck the basketball side of this. Just that wording. Like, what are we doing?
Oh man. I hope it was self-aware. I do. I hope it was self-aware. There's a certain point, like, we make fun of things, like guys say, we make fun of Karl Anthony Towns for being corny. We make fun of the way like Rudy whines. We make fun of like plenty of players for whining the way they do and everything. I do hope there was I hope he was trying to say something funny. I don't know if he realized how funny it sounds, but that's an all-time quote. That's right up there for me with Charles Shackelford saying, I'm amphibious. I can do it with either hand. That like it's right up there.
That's a good
for an all-time quote. R.I.P. Charles Shackelford. I mean, good for Rudy, you know?
I mean, yeah. Great. I'm glad he did it. He's fine.
Scoring, you know. Losing your virginity means he scored.
Yeah,
right. He scored. He hit a jumper. I wonder. how many do you think he has to make before teams actually hesitate in rotating away from, like, because it's not going to be like, oh, he hits 5 in a game in November and now teams are like, one, it's got to be an NBA 3, and two, like, is it 2 years of doing this at a respectable clip?
His first 10 games has to be in 30% shooting from there.
But even
I don't think teams are going. Teams aren't going to rotate.
I don't think teams will care, man. I really don't. So maybe the Wolves can get some free points off this. If it even gets to the, like, if it even get, remember when James Harden was doing that, like, fadeaway one-legged 3-point shot, be like, oh, he's bringing this, and he tried it once in a game and it was like, fuck this bullshit. Like, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, no, it's gonna have to be like a season at like 40%. Like, as absurd as that sounds, like, for teams to really go, okay, maybe we have to guard him. Like,
I was legitimately trying to, like, figure this out of, like, when did Brook Lopez get taken seriously with this, right? But he was also a good shooter, a good scorer, a mid-range shooter. Like, it wasn't that crazy.
It made more sense for him to eventually expand at 3-point line versus Gobert, who's done only dunks for the most part. Like, we don't see elbow jumpers from Rudy often, or in his repertoire the way Brooks had it. So it's a little bit different in that sense. So yeah, I don't think teams are taking him seriously at any point in the season with that.
I don't either. Like, it took Brook, I don't know. Like, he hit 134 threes the first year he started shooting them on 34%. He was 34%. Like, yeah, it maybe took like 3 years for teams to really care. It'd take Rudy, a decade?
Bigs like that, like, it's gonna have to be a rookie that, like, lost assignment and just really didn't pay attention.
Right.
That really, like, guys closing out hard on him is really gonna, and I don't even think he's going to even attempt it, just because he just gets his role.
Yeah, I don't like, we might see one early on in the season. If it goes well, then maybe that keeps up a little bit, but I don't think I wouldn't. It feels like remember that one preseason where Andre Drummond took a 3 and people are like, oh, Andre Drummond's a 3-point shooter now. And, like, I think he's taken 10 since then. Like, it's not, you know, Andre Drummond was becoming a shooter at one point and it never flashed to the NBA. It's all like rec league stuff in the summer.
So my question, because Rudy Gobert's never hit an NBA 3. He's only taken 14 attempts. What if he ever makes one? Is he going to have a comment about breaking his NBA virginity? Is this going to be
will he shoot more than DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah, oh, come on, don't do that to DeMar.
I love DeMar. I seen him
don't do that to DeMar.
At the All-Star game.
Oh man, DeMar's just catching strays. Like,
yeah, that's come on, man.
Conversation.
I appreciate DeMar not giving in. As much as I love 3-point shooting, I appreciate DeMar not giving in. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Enjoy the Hall of Fame week. Good class getting into the Hall of Fame next weekend. Got a lot of fun stuff on The Athletic. Make sure you subscribe for The Bounce. Make sure you listen to A King's Reign. Make sure you are watching us on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to The Athletic, and make sure you're checking out all the videos Mo is putting out on social media. Mo_NBA.
Thank you, Zach.
Is that it?
Yeah, you got it.
Why the underscore? Take the underscore out of there. Take the NBA out of there too. Just Mo Dakhil.
It's fine.
All right. There you go. For Trey, for Mo, for Dave, I'm Zach. Keep it locked on The Athletic.